You're all doing well. It feels weird this weekend, doesn't it? No Manchester United games since we lost to the Park the Bus Merchants Wolves, and our next game is the massive game against Barcelona, which I think we're all very, very excited about. But we're in that weekend feeling of, well, we could have been playing in the FA Cup. And I think, you know what, I wanted us to be playing in the World Cup. I really, really did. Sorry, the FA Cup. The World Cup would be weird. We're a club side. But I did want to be playing in the FA Cup, but I think after that Barcelona game, we're playing a game every 3 or 4 days till the end of May. So hopefully, after the bad recent results, it will give us a kick up the backside. But what it does allow is for these stories to develop. And I just want to say, look, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given the job, I said that patience is going to be very, very important. And the more you hear, and some of these things like from Lukaku representatives and around De Gea and Pogba, I think a lot of people think that, well, certainly when Mourinho came in, when Van Gaal came in, it was about how much they're going to spend, what players they're going to bring in, and they got it wrong and they failed. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time at Manchester United almost is potentially a mission impossible, because it's not just about whether they give him money to spend, it's the players he may well lose before he even thinks about buying players, which I want to talk about. But on a positive, let's start on a positive. Thanks for everybody who's got involved in the video we did last night, which was my 5 players for £260 million. Hopefully everyone will have watched that now. But it's interestingly, because I mentioned a couple, and it was my way of buying 5 players for 260 million. But literally, first thing this morning, there's news stories coming out from the Quip that Manchester United have inquired about Ndombele, which was one of the players I put on there. But more interestingly, Thomas Meunier as well, which was I thought it was a bit left field really to go and put Thomas Meunier. But I know he's got 1 year left in his contract. He's very experienced. He's got very good stats. And I think I want Delot to be our right back long term, and Meunier would be good there. So it's interesting that 2 out of those 5 players were linked to. Just on Ndombele, I must just say, I think Ndombele would sort of fall into what I'm about to talk about here. That we probably won't get Ndombele if we don't finish in the top 4. And there are United fans out there who think we're not going to finish in the top 4. I'm not going to even comment on that at the moment. I think it's too early to say either way. I think we've made it harder for ourselves by losing to Wolves, and we're in the hands of what Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs do. But I don't think... Do I think we'll get Ndombele anyway? I don't know. If we don't get top 4, if we don't get Champions League football, I don't think we will. It's well known Real Madrid are interested. Juventus have been interested in him for a while. Man City rumoured to be interested in him. But at the end of the day, he's playing for Lyon. They're in the Champions League, or they were. If Real Madrid, Juventus or Manchester United want you, even if they're all in the Champions League, we might not get him. If we're in the Europa League, we've got no chance. So I think that's going to be fundamental to that. But what I want to do is go back to what I was saying at the... and also, we get tired of saying it, director of football. I think director of football is a theme to run through this show tonight as well, because this is what's important to me about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I said it when he was finally appointed as manager, that patience is going to be the key. I think with Mourinho, there was that expectation that he wins the title in the first 2 years, because that's what his CV dictated when he was at Chelsea, when he was at Porto, when he was at Inter, when he was at Real Madrid, when he went back to Chelsea. Numerous clubs always delivered a title in the first 2 years. We expected that at United. We didn't get it. The football was crap. Boo-hoo. Go. Out. With Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think some fans actually even know what the expectations are. And I would say to you, as United fans, you should have in your mind what your expectations are for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because if you leave it uncertain, then you fall into a danger of maybe you'll turn quicker than you should do. Because... And I know that people might say, well, no, that's not the case. But if you don't know what your expectations are for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if next season we lose a couple of games, are you going to be going, oh, he's shit? You know, I would urge you to have an expectation for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And as I've said with mine, I don't expect us to fight for the title next year. I think we'll be fighting for top 4 again next year. I think we'll have a very similar year to this year. The year after that, I would expect a title challenge. The year after that, maybe win a title. But I know it's going to take a long time. He's inexperienced. We've got a big mess going on, and God knows what's going on upstairs at the club. So that's how I feel about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But not only that, I also think that the job's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be for him. Welcome, Rue1977. He's our latest member of the United Stand membership club. Remember, you can do that by joining, clicking the join button or going through the link in the video description. Get your own little badge next to your name and exclusive emojis. And Rue has just used one. He says, "Hi, I love the show. Ollie's at the wheel. I'm from Norway, but love Manchester United." You didn't need to put a butt there, Rue. Doesn't matter where you're from. You can be from Mars, Mercury. It'd be amazing if you were. It's impossible to live there, but being from Norway doesn't mean that you can't support Manchester United. You're very welcome, pal. You're very, very welcome. A few people like Wesley and Hannah are saying that Ollie's at the Barcelona game. Yes, they've all flown out to watch it. If we must replace Lukaku, can't pick Icardi. Who? Says Theodore Breck. I'll come back to that because I've got to speak about Lukaku. But what I was saying there is that I actually think that this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer job may be a lot harder. Certainly it's the hardest job since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Moyes, it wasn't a hard job. He just walked in with a bloody sledgehammer and smashed everything apart and failed. Van Gaal, very experienced manager, lot of money, failed. Mourinho, one of the best managers in the world, failed. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is taking over the mess. Well, Fellaini was a Moyes signing. He's got rid of him. He's still got some Van Gaal signings there, and he's definitely still got some Mourinho signings there. So he's taking over three failed managers' legacies. But on top of that, I think he's going to have a problem. Well, he has got a problem. You know, players that he rates, players that he wants to build his team around, could all leave. Like, Herrera's obviously going to go. I mean, there was somebody said today that he's been forced to train with the under-18s. I hope that's not the case. I really hope that Manchester United haven't done that. Because, just very quickly, I've had my say on this, but still today, I can see people on social media saying, "Oh, get rid of Herrera. He's not worth £200,000 a week. Get him out my club." And I'm like, oh, I get so tired of this. I'm like, you're idiots. I've explained it so many times. Maybe they don't watch the United Stand. Maybe they should. That's the problem. But you don't get it. You don't get it. He's not walking into Manchester United's bloody boardroom going, "Give me £200,000 or I'm going to sign for PSG." He's walking into the boardroom saying, "PSG have offered me £200,000 a week. What are you going to offer me?" And United are like, 100? Bog off. I'm off. You know, the people are twisting it that Herrera's gone, "It's £200,000 a week or I'm off." And United are going, "No, we're not paying him that." And he's like, "I'm off." We let his contract run down. PSG know he's free. PSG have offered him a huge wage because they haven't got to pay a transfer fee. And he is a free agent in the summer, and he's saying to United, "They're offering me £200,000 a week. Are you going to pay it?" "Oh, no, we're not going to pay it." So quite rightly, he's going to walk away. It's United's fault. It's nothing to do. It's not Herrera's fault that United consistently let contracts run down. So Herrera is a player that Solskjaer doesn't want to lose. De Gea, on the theme of PSG again, PSG are apparently willing to give him £400,000 a week. We spoke about this a couple of days ago. He's out of contract in a year's time. So United's, look, some people think it's okay. Welcome, Ken Morrison, our latest member of the club. Some people think it's okay to let Herrera go because he's not worth £200,000 a week. Why has De Gea not signed a contract? If he's not signed a contract, and I think it is about money, if he's not signed a contract because United don't want to give him £400,000 a week, then PSG may want to give him £400,000 a week because they're going to get a goalkeeper who's worth 80, 90 million for free. United either do give him £400,000 a week or they play hardball and they lose him like they did with Herrera. What's going to happen there? In Spain, they're reporting that Paul Pogba has told Manchester United he wants to go. United have accepted that they're going to have to let him go, and that Solskjaer's comments about Pogba over the last couple of weeks about him being happy at the club are all about, you know, putting on a brave front for the rest of the season, and they'll deal with it in the summer, and that Pogba will end up going to Real Madrid. I don't see how that works. He's got 3 years left on his contract, but what you can't, doesn't matter how many years he's got left on his contract. If he wants to go, doesn't mean you let him go, but it could be a problem. It could be a problem. So you've got Herrera, De Gea, and Pogba uncertainty, and that's before you even. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, if you're the manager of Manchester United, if I'm the manager of Manchester United, you take the job on. The first thing in your mind is, I've got a handful of players that I trust and I want to keep, and I want to add to that. You go into that job and, like, 3 of the players that are the handful you want to keep are like looking to go, well, that you're going to have to replace the 3 players that are players that you didn't think you had to before you even start thinking about improving the problem. And that, I think that's why it's very uncertain. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer and first year and first 2 years at Manchester United could really be. It's like, you know, it's like buying a Ferrari, isn't it? And you're like, I want to get better tyres on it, and I don't want a different paint job. But then you buy the Ferrari and the engine's screwed, and it's like, oh shit, you know, before I spend money on the things I wanted to do to make it like better, I've got to spend a load of money on the engine to get it working. And I think that's what concerns me a little bit about Ollie. I think he's definitely the right person for the job. He's definitely what we need at Manchester United, but we could be spending a lot of time this summer dealing with replacing players that we shouldn't have been letting go in the first place, instead of buying players to make what we've got better. That is my concern. I think Pogba will stay. I think the De Gea thing's weird. I think Herrera will go, but it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I wish it was going to be easy. Moses Quetzala says, Mark, I think Tielemans would be a great signing for a cheap price. I spoke about Tielemans. I've mentioned Tielemans. I don't know whether I mentioned it on the United Stand or something else. I really like him. From what I've seen, and he's not played loads of games for Leicester, but it is Premier League football. He's playing really, really well. My understanding with Tielemans is that Leicester have a deal in place to sign him permanently, and no other club can muscle in on that unless Leicester say that they don't want him. So I don't think we can do that deal, which is a shame because he looks good, and I think he's going to be a very good signing for Leicester. So, yeah, he's a good player. He definitely is doing very well for Leicester, and Leicester are doing very well. It's interesting, isn't it? I've always said that 1 to 11, Leicester are a good team, and now they've got a manager who wants to play football. They're actually fulfilling that. Ken Morrison says, today is my birthday. Can I get a shout out? You certainly can, Ken. Happy birthday. Do you think the club are dragging their feet with De Gea because of Dino's progress at Sheffield United? Says Sanjay. You'd be a fool. Why would you drag your feet with the best goalkeeper in the world for a keeper that could be quite a good goalkeeper? It doesn't make any sense. United are dragging their feet because they don't want to pay loads of money. Interestingly, with Lukaku, I'll throw this at you because I even before I went live went to make sure that that it was credible news, and I saw it was in the Telegraph. So I was like, well, that's a UK media outlet, so they are reporting it. So this is like, if this was Pogba or this was De Gea, United fans would be in uproar. So basically, what it is. One of Lukaku's representatives has sort of thrown Lukaku's summer future at Manchester United into doubt. Hooray, everybody says. But he said, like, you know, Lukaku's a player that he grew up watching Italian football. He loves Italian football. He'd like to play there. Lukaku's the sort of player that likes to see and try different cultures and different countries. And I'm like, you're a Manchester United player. We're in a battle for top 4. And you've just cost us like a lot. You've just missed sitters against Wolves, and your representatives are basically whoring you out for a move in the summer. I mean, if that was Pogba, fans would be on his back. If that was De Gea, fans would be on his back. But Lukaku, it's fine because actually we want him to go. But I still think it's the timing of that. If I was Solskjaer or I was Woodward, I'd have him in the office. I'd say, what the hell are you doing? We've got a massive game against Barcelona on Wednesday. We've got a massive few weeks ahead. And your representatives are out talking about, yeah, you don't know what your future's going to be, but you like Italy, you like this country, you like that. It shouldn't be happening. And I know football's changed a lot, but it shouldn't be happening. We're at the business end of a season. I don't want to hear any Manchester United player talking about how much they like Italy or how they want to move to different clubs. We're Manchester United. We're not frigging Everton. We're not Stoke. We're Manchester United. So if our club means something, like we've had tragedy at this club, we've had great highs at this club, but the badge means more than anybody. Chief executives, managers, players, and the fans mean a lot as well. And no player should be out putting stuff out publicly about, well, I'm here now, but in the future I'll probably go somewhere else. Up yours, and certainly not at this time of the season. But it was quite interesting because I was like, for one, he shouldn't be doing it. For two, if it was Pogba, people would go mad. But it's only because we actually would like to get rid of Lukaku that people are just like, oh, it's Lukaku. Man United paid off Jose 20 million after his fights with Pogba. Now Ollie wants to build a team around Paul. Just imagine how effed off it'd be if Paul leaves now. Our club either needs a director of football or oil money. Well, man with a GoPro, you've sort of read my mind there, because the thoughts on Rennie Mullerstein coming back to United, says Craig Warburton. No, why? Why do we need him back at Manchester United? We've got Mike Phelan, we've got Carrick, we've got the right people at the club. I don't think we need him back. I don't, unless there is a bit of a rumour around Mike Phelan wanting reassurances about the setup of the club. But we need a director of football. We definitely need a director of football, because I think United's negotiations are Ed Woodward, who is basically a bank manager. And if you've got a bank manager negotiating with Ndombele, I would rather have somebody who knows football. And also, I think that I've always said this, every transfer window, Ed Woodward is slow at transfer deals. He is slow. We never get hit. And I used the Fabinho one from last year. Liverpool weren't even linked to Fabinho. In the space of 2 hours, they were linked to him and had him signed. Now, you don't do a deal in 2 hours, but when they were doing their deal, it must have been quick and very secretive. With United, it's never quick and it's never secretive. We never really do a deal out of the blue. There's one or two, but we never normally do. They normally run and run and run for ages. I mean, you think about Fred last summer. We knew we were signing him, but it took weeks for it to be official, because United just take ages and ages and ages. That's where a director of football would come into it. We haven't got a director of football. We're not likely to have a director of football anytime soon. Even if we got a director of football now, it's too late for the summer, because transfers for the summer will have been spoken about for weeks already, even months. But you think about the problems we've got this summer, just around, well, what's happening with Pogba, what's happening with De Gea, what's happening with Herrera, what's happening with Rojo, what's happening with Darmian, what's happening with Valencia, what's happening with Mata. That's 7 players straight away, and there's more. Then you want to sign 5 players. That's 12 negotiations straight away for one man to do, and the team that he's already got around him, who's consistently been pretty slow at deals. I just, again, is it mission impossible for Ollie? Well, I say mission impossible. Is it mission impossible for us to have any improvement next season? Because I think this summer is a big summer, but I don't think we're equipped to deal with this summer. I think there's so much going on with people going out the door and being unhappy at the club. When you add all that negotiations and you add, we want 5 players, you do the maths, it's not going to work. Can we do 12 deals in 3 months with Ed Woodward? No, I don't think we can. And obviously 5 of those are 5 players coming in, and maybe 7 deals with people going in or negotiating to stay. And you can say, well, if Pogba's not going, there's no negotiation. But if Pogba wants to go, you've got to negotiate with him in the summer. You can say, well, De Gea's not going, so there's no negotiation. Well, there is, because if we don't get De Gea signed up on a contract this summer, he can run it down and go for free next season. So I think to me, looking at it, there's already, I can see disappointment this summer somewhere, because there's already way too much to do. And I come back to what I said. For Ollie, I think that he's not going to be in a position at the start of next season where he's trimmed the deadwood, he's brought the players he wants to bring in, and he's kept the players he wants to keep. I can't see that happening, because there's too much work to do there. There's too much work. And this is why a director of football was really important, and we still haven't resolved that issue. Karita Janga says, if we sign Partey, Ndombele, Tielemans, Neves, and get Kroos and Varane for Pogba, I would be very happy, and sign a right. Yeah. You're dreaming, mate. You're. I'm not even going to finish it because you're dreaming. And now we have a shorter transfer window, says Paul Robinson. Exactly. Gunnar Dredick says, I am an Arsenal fan, but I like to listen to Goldbridge because his ideas are brilliant. Thank you. And Intane wants a quick recap. Mark, I joined late. To be honest, that last sentence I was talking about is essentially the recap. That I think the title of the show is Solskjaer's Man United Rebuild in Danger. And I think, in essence, many people think that, and maybe Ollie thought it himself, was that I take this job on, I get money to spend in the summer, I get 4 or 5 players in, and I build on what I've got. That's not going to happen. We know it's not. Is he going to get 4 or 5 players for a start? Hopefully, but I think he's going to lose a couple of players he doesn't want to lose. And then you've got to, what do you do with Darmian? What do you do with Rojo? What do you do with Mata? They're all negotiations. It's not, as I said before, it's not like you open the door and say, off you go, run free, close the door. It's not, and drive off. It's not like that. It's not like that. If Mata goes, well, he will go free. If Darmian goes, he's still under contract. You've got to negotiate it. There's so much work to be done there. And I read something else as well. I've read this a bit over the last couple of days. That Ed Woodward is apparently going to leave it to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on whether he gets rid of Sanchez or not. So, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says, yeah, let's get rid of Sanchez, what's Ed Woodward going to do? Oh, yeah, I'll just get rid of him. Who the bloody hell is going to sign Alexis Sanchez? £400,000 a week. 3 years left on his contract. There's too much work to be done this summer. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's not Ole's fault. This is the legacy of the mistakes of the last 6 years. And I think patience is so important, therefore, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to have it like Van Gaal, Moyes and Mourinho, where you spend a bit of money and then you go and get top 4. I think that the problems of the last 6 years are now coming to roost. I think that even if you spend money, there's still so much damage in that club. It's just patience. As I said, I think next season we will be battling for 4th again. I really do. Because I can't see... I mean, look, worst case scenario, you lose De Gea and Pogba in the summer. Are you confident we're getting top 4 next season? Because I'm not. Second case scenario, not as bad as that. We don't lose Pogba, but we don't get De Gea on a contract and he's running it down next year. Is that a great scenario? Are we going to get top 4? Best case scenario, we get De Gea on a new contract, we get Pogba to stay, and we, obviously Herrera's going to go, and we make 5 signings. Are we going to get the best case scenario? Are we? I don't know. Sean Bordner says, getting top 4 means more than just Champions League. Players won't want to be here if we fail. Not getting top 4 will set us back 2 more years. It's good, Sean, because I think that people like Paul Pogba and David De Gea will not want to be in the Europa League again. They've done it with United. Can I be blunt? I call it the Emmerdale Cup because I hate it. And Arsenal fans don't get this. And Chelsea fans don't get it. When I take the piss out of them being in the Emmerdale Cup. Well, this from the man who won it 2 years ago with United. And I'm like, check my tweets. Watch the videos back. I hate the Emmerdale Cup. If we win it next year, the best bit will be the final whistle when we hold the trophy up. Because it's like, yes, we're not in it again. I hate the Emmerdale Cup. I absolutely hate it. There's no positive about it. Of course I'm going to watch the games. Of course I'm going to be happy if we play well in them games. Because that's what being a fan is. But I hate the Emmerdale Cup. It's a wasted year not being in the Champions League. And I hate it. If we're in the Emmerdale Cup next year, that'll be Paul Pogba and David De Gea, 2 of the best players in the world, wasting 2 years of their career not in the best tournament in the world. Also, it'll be the second time they're doing it at Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them players are like, hold on a minute, I wasted a year doing this to buy into the rebuild at United. 2 years later, you're asking me to do it again. And whether they're the problem as to why we were in that rebuild, I don't know. Not really, they're not, from my point of view, but some people would say they are. But why should they? We've been saying it for De Gea for years. Would you blame David De Gea if he wanted to go? Because, all right, he has got a league title under Sir Alex Ferguson, but for the best goalkeeper in the world, the last 6 years, to be flirting with 4th and 5th and 6th place and being nowhere near winning a European Cup, to be harsh, it's a waste of a career. So United either give him what he's asking money-wise or he's going to go. Simple as. Welcome to Ninja Kick 642. He's our latest United Stand member. Why do the fans accept it and do nothing about it? Imagine the president of Barcelona or Real not coming close to a title in 5 years. They'd get sacked immediately, but why not Woodward? Because, Gagag Lola, because the way that Real Madrid and Barcelona are run is very different to Manchester United. We're run by people who don't support Manchester United, who bought us on debt, who've made a very, very successful business model out of our football club. And they love Ed Woodward because Ed Woodward was part of the team that helped them buy Manchester United. So he's never going to be sacked. And the fans are powerless to get him sacked. So that's the answer to that. Even says that Bayern have shagged overrated Sancho. Bayern was smashing Dortmund last time I saw it. But what did I say last night? Jadon Sancho, I would like United to sign him, but Hirving Lozano, get him for 40 million. I watched the video from last night. 5 very good players for 260 million quid. There's been reports stating that Jadon Sancho is not for sale. Any info on this story? Was really looking forward to this signing by United, says Naveen John. So, interesting, Naveen, actually, because the CEO, chief executive of Borussia Dortmund, has said 2 things. He said that Manchester City have got no input on the sale of Jadon Sancho. They don't get any money and they don't determine where he goes. But he also said that he's not available for 80 million euros either. So I always said if we sign Jadon Sancho, it's £100 million. It's whether United do that or not. And to be honest with you, I really, really like him. He would be my ideal right winger. He's still got development in his game. I would go Hirving Lozano. He's less than half the price and he's a good right winger. I would go with that because you could spend money elsewhere then. Steve Wise says, why don't we swap Partey out for Rabiot? A lot of people were saying that to me today. Get Rabiot because he's free and it reduces the money we spend. I've never felt that we're getting Rabiot. I don't think we are getting him. I think he is going to go to Spain. I don't think we're going to get him. I think it'd be a good signing, but I don't think we're going to get him. And to be honest with you, I'd rather get Thomas Partey and Ndombele than get Rabiot and Ndombele anyway. I prefer Partey to him. But I bet we won't get those sort of players anyway. I really don't. Marcus Rashford's back in training. Which I expected anyway, but he's back in training. I mean, this game on Wednesday night, a lot of people being quite negative about it. I've got a funny feeling we might win. I think that's just very typical of this United squad. On its day, it can beat anybody, but on its day against teams you expect them to win, they often don't turn up. So it's going to be a very, very big challenge for us. I hope we don't get beat by Barcelona because that would be 3 losses in a row, and I think the knives would be already coming out for him. I think the press have sort of hit the reset clock. We had that great 3 months under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer where he was given, obviously, and then he's been given the job, and now he's officially got the job, and he's lost his. It's not 3-0. It's not. I know we beat Watford, but we didn't play very well in that, and then we've lost to Wolves. So I really hope, for many reasons, that we get a good result against Barcelona. But I can't be arsed with the negativity around Solskjaer. Like I say, and there's a lot going on behind closed doors at United that is making that job very, very difficult. And I think patience is the biggest thing. I really do. Demoy Vernon says maybe Martial's game dipped because Pogba told him he might leave. Moral is an all-time low. Players not good enough and incompetent board. It's sad. It is sad, but I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United. It's just what the job is. Again, you've got to determine individually what your expectation is for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. If you think he's going to win the league next year, at least you think that. I think it's wildly, wildly wrong. But we don't know the enormity of the job. That's what this video is about, really. And I've started doing the sums, and I'm like, right, Herrera looks like he's going. You've got to replace a player he didn't want to go. De Gea's definitely going into the last year of his contract, and then he can walk away for nothing. That's got to be sorted out this summer. That's 2 things. Pogba. There's clearly something with Pogba. Are we going to give him a new contract? Is he unhappy? Is he happy? That's 3 things that need to be dealt with. Darmian, 4. It's all right saying he's going. You've still got to negotiate the sale. Doesn't happen itself. That's 4 deals. Valencia is going to go, and he'll go because he's free, so that's fine. Mata, well, is he going? If he's not going, you've got to negotiate his contract. If he is going, okay, maybe not. Rojo, still under contract. Got to sort that out. Lukaku, maybe he wants to go. Got to sort that out. These are all internal things. Without your 5 players that you want to sign, and suddenly you're into double figures of deals you've got to do. And you can't do that. You can't do 10 plus deals in the summer. Because people think, oh, it's all about incomings. But anyone who's worked in any area of business, selling something can be as time consuming as buying something. And people just think, yeah, you can do 5 deals in the summer, signings. They think you're talking about signings. But what about all the stuff that's got to go on internally? And there's a lot. Welcome to Calbao, our latest member. You can join the United Stand Members Club by just clicking the join button below, or you can go through the link in the video description. You get your little badge next to your name. For this month only, you get the United Stand FC badge, which is red, so your name goes green. You keep your normal profile picture and you get a little United Stand FC badge for the first month, and the second month it will change to another badge all the way up to Platinum 3-star. And you get access to our emojis as well. Ollie at the wheel is my favourite because I think we need to back him. But I must just say as well, busy day tomorrow. United Stand FC Trials Part 2. It won't be going up tomorrow, but we are filming it tomorrow, so interesting. We've got the kits, so it's an 11 versus 11 game as we try to get down to the first team squad, so really looking forward to that. And we have got Sunday Night Live for you as usual as well. A couple of things I just want to talk about as well. Marcus Rojo may well be playing some games for us in the next few weeks, so will he be sold? I mean, he should be sold. He gets injured a lot, and we need to evolve as a club. What if he plays well in these next couple of games and we're like, we don't need to sign a player for that position, we've got Rojo now? A lot of people like Rojo, and at times I've quite liked Rojo as well, but I think we need to turn the page. But the reason he probably will play is because we've got no Luke Shaw and no Ashley Young against West Ham next weekend. So that might happen. And also Wilfried Zaha. A lot of people have been talking about Wilfried Zaha signing for Manchester United. What did I say? I don't think it will happen. And it's been in the press last couple of days, basically reiterating what I said, is that if you've read Zaha's comments after leaving United, he didn't like it here. He hated it here. He didn't like how he was treated here. And that's what they're talking about, basically saying that, Zaha to United is unlikely because he didn't like his time here and how he was treated here. So, that's quite interesting, I think, as well. Welcome, Coffee Black, says Coffee Black. Welcome, newest member of the club. I don't like my coffee black, to be honest. I like a bit of milk in it. I like Rojo, but he needs to sort out that bad knee, says Wengy Simmons. He's become very injury prone, hasn't he? He's the Argentinian Phil Jones, to be fair. Martial's always injured, Mark, says the music channel. I think he's all right at the moment. I saw somebody today saying that Mourinho Martial better than Ollie Martial. And I was like, no. Martial under Ollie has been very good. He's just gone and got himself injured a bit. Martial under Mourinho, he scored a lot of goals, but I don't think he was ever, running the way that Ollie lets him run, a bit freer. What about Bailly, Mark, says Fraser? I think he will ultimately leave, which is a bit sad. I spoke about that the other night, didn't I? Everton and Watford want Phil Jones, says Deepak Surab. Get the car, Deepak. We're driving up to Manchester. We get Phil Jones and we get down to Everton before midnight and make sure that he signs something. Get him out of the club. If somebody wants him, get him out. I hope we sell Young. He is crap, says Kieran McCrory. I saw something today about that, actually, because obviously I think Valencia is definitely going to go in the summer. He's the club captain. Who's the captain next year? Herrera's going to go. A lot of fans like him. Ashley Young, can you seriously give him the captain's armband when he's crap? And they were talking about maybe Lindelof. I quite like Lindelof. I think it'd be a good. I think if you put next to Lindelof a Skriniar or a Koulibaly or a Varane, his job will get easier, and I think he'd be a very good captain then, because he's a very intelligent footballer. He understands the game. He knows where the space is. He's good on the ball. I think he'd be very, very good. Jimenez from Atletico Madrid, marks, is Francis Ward. My only concern with Atletico Madrid, and I've said it for years, is the money they want. They get a lot of money. I mean, look how much they got from Bayern Munich for that fullback. They always want big money. It's like when people say, if De Gea goes, let's get Oblak. I guarantee we'd pay more for Oblak than we sold for De Gea. That's Atletico Madrid just get big money for their players. Lindelof will be the next captain, says Patrick Anderson. Atletico Madrid Barcelona on now. I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch that. I'm not Clutch Blamex. I'm not massively made up on Declan Rice as our CDM. Yeah, I've got to be honest about that. A lot of people are going on about Declan Rice, and I really do think it's the English thing. Oh, he's a young English player, brilliant. Nah, I'd rather get, as I've said, Thomas Partey, Rabiot, Ndombele, Verratti. There's loads of players I'd rather get over Declan Rice. I think it's this, oh, he's a young English player. And maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, he'll be a great player and I'll look back and go, oh, maybe we should have done. But I don't really want... No, he's not a player that really grabs my attention, to be honest with you. And maybe I'm being a little bit unfair. But I saw somebody in the live comments there, sorry, it whizzed by, saying that Manolas to United's 100% going to happen. I have said that. And I like Manolas, but he's not the quality we need. I'm not saying he'd be a bad signing, but we need to go and get a world-class centre-back. A world-class domineering centre-back. And when you say, name the world's top 10 centre-backs, not a lot of people will have Manolas in the top 10. A few people might have him in position 7 to 10, but a lot of people wouldn't even have him in the top 10. United need to sign one of those top 10 centre-backs in the world. And if they're serious about improving, they will. If they're just going to be about saving money, they'll get Manolas because his release clause is 32 million. And that'll be very sad. And it's not Manolas' fault. He's a good player. But he's not going to come here and be the domineering centre-back that we need. Ben Trelaw says, are you praying that Messi gets injured tonight? I'll throw that to the live comments. Would you like to see Messi get injured tonight, everybody? I would say this. No, I don't. If we beat Barcelona, I want to beat Barcelona. If I don't want to beat Barcelona because their best player is out injured. I don't. I'm not like that. I don't like that. I don't like it when our players are injured and it impacts on our games. So I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I like it when our position players are injured. I don't want him to. I don't want him to at all. Karita Janka says low budget signings equals Ed Woodward signings. It's going to be a very interesting summer, everybody. And I think it's going to be a very interesting next few weeks. And I've always said that they're very separate things. What we do in the summer is separate to this immediate problem we've got, which is trying to get in the top 4. But actually, I think over the next few weeks, we will understand more about these potential issues in the summer. Does Pogba want to still be here? Is De Gea going to stay here long term? Is if Herrera is being forced to train with the kids, I think that's a disgrace. I don't know what anybody else thinks. It's a big if because I don't even know if it's true. But if he's being forced to play with the kids, that's a disgrace. Because how could you say you won't sign a new contract so you've got to go and train with the kids? You'd be putting your hand up and saying, hold on a minute. You let my contract run down. You know if you let my contract run down, I'm free to go wherever I want to go in the summer. I haven't said I want to leave United. I'm not under contract. You've let it run down. And I won't sign the contract you've offered me because someone else has offered me a better one. And now you want me to train with the kids because I've done something wrong. You've let it run down, not me. You've put me in this position, and now someone wants to pay me more money than you'll offer. And I'm saying, well, of course, why wouldn't I take that? Or will you give it me? You're saying no, and now you want to make me go and train with the kids as a punishment. I can't see that it's true because it makes no sense. But if it is, it's just another bloody ridiculous thing that goes on above. And you know what? I keep saying it. Gary Neville said it months ago. Gary Neville has got some things wrong. And he admits he just likes to back the manager, whoever it is. And he did back Mourinho. But he did say, as many of us have said, that there's problems at Manchester United that go way above the playing staff and the manager. And it's what goes on upstairs. It'll be interesting. Would you prefer quality or quantity this summer? Says Adityo Bankoli. I think that's one of the best comments we've had all night. Quality or quantity. So I suppose to interpret that, would I take 2 really, really top players over 5 mediocre players? So would I take Koulibaly and Jadon Sancho, or would I rather get Manolas, Bergwijn, Declan Rice, Meunier, and let's say another midfielder who's not that good, Barella? So they're not bad, them 5. Manolas, Bergwijn, Meunier, Barella and Declan Rice. Or would you rather just get Sancho and Koulibaly? What a question. You've got 2 really, really top players there, and you've got 5 players that cover positions, but maybe they're not as good as those 2 players. Quantity or quality? I think you can make a case for both, and I hate sitting on the bench, but I really do hate sitting on the fence. I think we do need quantity because we've got so much crap at the club, and those players would improve us, but they're not of the quality I would want. But 2 players, a centre-back and a right-winger, what about the midfield? I don't know. I think I'd go with the quality. I think I would go with Koulibaly and Sancho because they're very, very, very good players. But I'd understand people who went with the quantity as well. What a question. We should have done that from the start. Maybe we'll revisit that. The Buttnut fan says, in college football in the US, Alabama was losing in the national champs game because their starters underperformed. The coach pulled them all and started the first-year players in the second half. Why can't we do that to punish our senior players? I'd never see it. I've never seen it happen in football. I understand what you're saying. A lot of people saying they'd go for the quantity. And Harry Jones says he'd go for quality. We have a massive squad already. Quality in some positions and quantity in some, says Krista Sebastian Thomason. Richard Briscoe's using the Ollie at the wheel emoji. Quantity, you can always pre-contract the quality, says Paint Job Pythons. Anyway, my throat is absolutely killing. I'm sorry if I've been a bit stuttery and slow tonight. I'm not in my normal flow at all. My throat's still very, very sore. But I really enjoyed doing the show with you tonight. If you haven't seen last night's video, it's well worth watching. 260 million, 5 players, and I'd be over the moon if we did that. And it's cheap enough for the club to do it as well. So there's no excuses this year. You can go and get the quality and the quantity. And I did it with 260 million. So watch that video from last night. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. We're out filming tomorrow, United Stand FC. So give us a follow on Instagram and everything, on Twitter, and we'll post some stuff up for you. And yeah, if you want to join and be a member of the United Stand, the join button's there. And yeah, we'll be back live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm off to suck a strepsil, which is a cough sweet. Nothing sinister. Speak to you all soon.